Whatever. Right. My pranams to all Atma Jyotis. Welcome to the weekend meditation session. In each session, I'll give a few minutes of instruction for whatever meditation practice you do. Okay. Today's meditation instruction is called Chitta Ekagrata. Chitta Shuddhi or purification of the inner consciousness happens in 3 stages. Chitta Ekagrata, Chitta Vishalata, Chitta Shuddhi. There are 3 stages. Chitta Ekagrata is one-pointedness of the mind. Okay. One-pointedness of the mind is called Chitta Ekagrata. So how to make the mind one-pointed? Okay. So we have to understand the nature of the mind. Take this apple. Look at this apple. So what are you seeing? You see an apple with some color, name and form. Correct? Now what has happened here? 2 things have happened in the process of seeing. That's called this 2-stage process is step 1. The mind goes out and takes the form of the object. Mind goes out and takes the form of the object. Like here, the mind which has Chidabhasa as a reflection, goes out and takes the form of the object. So this taking the form of the object is called Vritti Vyapti. Vritti Vyapti. So the mind occupies the object, the form of the object. Okay. So then Phala Vyapti. Then consciousness or Chaitanyam knows, I know the flower. I know. So the first is removal of ignorance of the object by mind going and becoming the nature of the object. Second is I know it, the consciousness. Okay. There's a 2-step process. One is mind taking the form of the object, then knowing it. That's knowing it is called Phala Vyapti. Vritti Vyapti and Phala Vyapti. Is it too clear? Now here lies the key for Chitta Ekagrata, one-pointedness of the mind. How do you have one-pointedness of mind? And why should you have one-pointedness of mind? When mind becomes one-pointed, the mind does not go into past or future. Mind does not go into memory. Mind comes to totally the present moment. So before you realize the presence, you should know how to bring the mind back to present moment. Is it clear? So the nature of the mind is first is Vritti Vyapti. Vritti Vyapti means mind will just blow up. It will go everywhere. It will go into time, space. You think of a person, it will go person. You think of a time, it will go to time. If you think of place, you will go. Mind will take the form of the object. The mind is the world. Is it clear to all? So now, the mind, which is going to a large number of places, has to be brought to one point, to the present moment. That is the first step of meditation. It's called Chitta Ekagrata. How do you do that? For that, you need an object for focus. The object for focus is called Dharana. Okay. So Dharana is the object for focus. So now Dharana, object for focus, as it becomes smaller and smaller, the mind becomes sharper and sharper, and mind becomes one-pointed focus. Let us say you take a needle, tip of a needle. If you are focusing on that, mind becomes sharper and sharper. But the challenge for the mind is mind will keep on wavering. You can't focus there. So that's where mind and prana, mana and prana together have to come to that point. Wherever mana and prana come together, there's a Chitta Ekagrata. So first level of prana and mana comes together at one point in our body, at the tip, at the nose here, bridge of the nose. Okay. Bridge of prana, breath is prana in one other form. Breath touches here. Then take the attention there. Now mana and prana have come to one point. So mana and prana can come to one point here also, Brahmarandra also. Mana and prana can come at a gross level at this point. Here, here, here. To start from the tip of the nose, which is object, is more grosser. So what happens is the breath touches here and goes out. Touches here, goes out. It's touch and go for the breath, right? As you observe it, the touch point becomes sharper and sharper and smaller and smaller. So what's happening to your mind? Along with the prana, mind is taking the form of a point. That's called chitta ekagrata, one point. In that point, the past and future cannot come. The time and space cannot come. Because past and future, time and space comes when the mind goes to that object. The object is here now. Are you clear? So now what will happen? The mind, some thoughts or memories can come up. Again, you focus here. That is the way chitta ekagrata is done. Now the focusing here, you have to be very careful to understand the word called focus. Why are you looking at that point? See, the point is, there's a touch here when the breath moves in. You have to be aware, a small point where breath is touching, and then there's no touch sensation. Then again, breath moves out, there's a touch. So what is happening? No touch, touch, no touch, touch. Alternate is happening. Correct? In reality, what's happening? When touch is there, mind becomes one-pointed. When no touch is there, mind has nothing to grab. It becomes vishalata, chitta ekagrata and chitta vishalata. One-pointedness and expansion of the mind. Both happens. One-pointedness on your hand, expansion of the mind, both is happening. With Anmaya Vyatireka logic of Vedanta, presence and absence, when the expansion happens, there's nothing for the mind to focus. So then what is there? Self alone is there. The self takes the form of a point. Water takes the form of a wave. Then nothing. Nothing means water becomes water. So in simple way, the point is when the self has taken the form of an object, water has taken the form of wave, then no touch means there's no object. Then what is there? Self alone is there. Now, Anmaya Vyatireka, presence and absence, both you are noticing. And one who is noticing the presence and absence is the Atma, the self, the Sakshi. So you are actually not noticing the breath. You are actually becoming more and more aware of your own self, Sakshi. So that is called meditation. Meditation is not focused on the breath. Meditation is not focused on the object. Meditation is taking the mind to one point and the point and no point. Anmaya Vyatireka. Ekagrata, Vishalata. Both you are observing. You are the observer of both. And I am the Sakshi. So make the mind as small point as possible, as the breath as sharp as possible, one pointed. Now what will happen? The point, do you know what is point in geometry? A point in geometry has no dimensions. In reality, point is imaginary thing. There's nothing called point in geometry. Only put a dot. There's no point. There's nothing called point. Point is only notional subject. Really, the point is pointless. Point is dimensionless. Basically, you are more and more getting established in self with a simple practice of observing that can happen here, Brahmarandra. Brahmarandra is vibration, Adna, vibration, at the tip of the nose, breath. So whichever practice you do, if you remember this, Chitta Ekagrata, Chitta Vishalata, the one who is aware of Chitta Ekagrata, Chitta Vishalata, Atma. Are you clear? So what are you observing in Chitta Ekagrata? The point is appearing and disappearing. What appears and disappears is Mithya. The breath is moving. So the observer is unchanging. As simple as that. Any questions from anybody? Nasikagra. Nasikagra is this one. People say Nasikagra is this one. It's not Nasikagra. This is Nasikagra. Okay. So is the principle clear to you all? Everybody's understood what I said? Okay. Point self Atma is not finite, not infinite. It is dimensionless. Okay. When you observe a point, the point disappears and dimensionless self alone remains, because point which appears and disappears is mithya. The touch and no touch means mithya. Are you clear? Is it simple? Okay, shall we continue? Okay, stop the recording.